Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Vitals and Voices. I'm Latika, and I'm the founder and host.
I'm Camden, and I'm the co-host.
And I'm Shivani, the content and scriptwriter lead, and we serve on the executive team of Vitals and Voices.
Vitals and Voices celebrates the people who drive true purpose to the healthcare field. In this podcast, we interview leaders, mentors, and everyday changemakers in the healthcare world whose passion and stories for service continue to inspire countless people.
Please welcome our guest, Sahan.
Hi everyone. Um, my name's Sahan. Do I just introduce myself?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. My name's Sahan. I'm a first year medical student as of 2 weeks ago, and I'm from California, but now I go to medical school in Texas.
Nice. Okay. So, starting off, can you tell us a little bit about what led you into the medical field and when your interest started for medicine?
Yeah, so I don't really have a super crazy or super unique story that a lot of people do, but or that a lot of people have, but basically it started, I want to say, in high school. I really didn't know up to junior year of my third year of high school what I wanted to do or pursue. I didn't really have a clear choice of career. And then I was really thinking about what subjects I enjoyed the most. And the science subjects were honestly the best ones for me. I wasn't the smartest. I never really got straight A's or anything in high school, but I really enjoyed what I learned in science. And it was something that I really wanted to continue learning. And in the same time, during high school, I used to love volunteering in my community and just serving others. And it was something that was super fulfilling to me. And so that's something that I wanted to carry on in a career. So naturally, becoming a doctor was one of the things that I looked into. And then I shadowed a general surgeon and some other specialties. And I really loved the impact they made on patients. So going into college, I decided that I would be pre-med.
Oh, yeah, that's a really nice story.
That's beautiful. Before med school, how did you spend your gap year and what did you take away from that time?
Okay, so my gap year was last year. I took one gap year. So after I graduated in 2024 from college, I came home and I worked as a nursing assistant. So it's called a CNA, Certified Nursing Assistant, at a nursing home. And basically, I did that for a few months. And what I would do is you would basically help the elderly population who reside in the nursing home carry out the daily activities of their lives. So anything from bathing to cleaning to feeding, everything that you would need to do for a person that is unable to take care of themselves, we would be there helping them with that. I really think I got a lot out of that experience in terms of understanding bedside manner and understanding what people need to feel supported and cared for. So I got everything I thought I could have gotten out of that experience. And then I decided to go to EMT school to become an EMT. So after a few months of being a CNA, I got my EMT certification in about 5 weeks, I think, and then worked as an EMT for a couple of months. And so that's how I spent the latter half of my gap year. But throughout the entire year, I was also coaching tennis and pickleball over the weekends because I needed a fun activity to keep my mind off of medicine because I was involving myself too much with patient care. So it was like a little fun hobby that I could get that I could save money for the following years.
Well, I just want to say real quick, I love pickleball too. And I find that really um inspiring the way that you worked so hard with working as a nursing assistant and an EMT at the same time.
Yeah, thank
It's
you, thank you.
wonderful.
Okay. What was the most challenging part of med school application process for you? And what advice would you give to someone who is applying?
Okay, so this is a complicated question because I don't want to scare anyone, but it is known to be a difficult process, right? But it is extremely rewarding because you make it out on the better side after. But I don't know. I think each aspect of the application cycle has its own challenges. So there's a lot of difficulty with different parts of it. Uh, so for that reason, I would say the entire cycle, and I'll explain why. It's a year-long process, and it starts with taking the infamous MCAT. And that's a super long exam. It tests all of your scientific knowledge that you've gathered during undergrad. So it really puts you to the through a huge challenge because you have to study for it, learn how to sit in one place for an extended period of time. The test is 7.5 hours long, and you get four breaks in between that are like 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and then 30 minutes. So it is it's more, it's a lot of stamina building that you have to do and sitting there and being able to understand long passages and reading. And reading and writing are some of my biggest weaknesses. I'm stronger in science, so I'm glad I'm in this field. But in terms of the actual application, after the MCAT, you have to write about yourself, like what you do for college applications, very similar. Your primary application is writing about yourself and your personality and your experience. So after you get through that part, some people are stronger in writing than others. So that's sometimes the easier part. For me, I did struggle with that. And then you have to write more essays if they like your primary application. And then if they like the secondary application, then preparing for interviews is the third step. So it really depends on the person. For me, I think the entire thing was a struggle, but you have to learn how to manage your time wisely and take it one step at a time. Because if you try to think about everything you have to do for the next entire year, you get overwhelmed and it's very easy to just go into panic mode and not um, be successful at all. So I think every step of the way has its own challenges, just like being a pre-med in college, but learning how to navigate little by little and only addressing a small part at a time really helps.
Yeah, definitely. That was so inspiring. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah. So, I saw that you recently started med school. So, how'd you feel on your first day?
So, our school specifically has a program where it's a little different from other schools where we have orientation and a period called immersion. So they had to start school on July 1st. And so for that month, it was a lot of community-based projects and learning, meeting your classmates, learning about the institution, getting comfortable being in a new city. So that was we had an entire month to figure that out before school actually started. So it was really nice being able to meet other people and learn about the community and settle into your new house, your new environment before school started. So that is a plus that made the actual first day much easier. But in terms of the first day, to be very honest, it was very difficult and scary, just like how your first day of middle school or first day of high school, first day of college will be. It's a lot of fear of the unknown. But now I'm 2 weeks in and I'm starting to get the hang of things. But um, there's a lot of content. I don't know if you've heard this before, but med school is like trying to drink water from a fire hose because they throw a lot of information at you and you just have to try to grab at the parts that you can and do the best to retain that information. So at first it was definitely overwhelming. But I think being a little bit nervous to start something new is always a good way to go. So you're over preparing rather than under preparing.
Yeah, that's really good to know. And I think it's great that your school had something where you could kind of get used to it as well.
Mhm.
Just a quick question. Where do you go like for med school in Texas?
I go to Texas Tech University in El Paso. So
Oh, okay.
definitely far away from home, far away from California. Um, but I really love it so far.
That's awesome.
Great. Yeah.
I know since you're at the start of your med school journey, but what are you looking forward to the most in med school so far?
So far, that's a good question. I don't think I've thought much about this, but I will say that I've always loved talking to people, and especially in my gap year when I was talking to patients in clinical settings, that was the best part of my day. Because seeing how you can improve somebody's condition with your knowledge it's super empowering and it really shows that you're capable of more than you think you are. So I know getting the foundations of medicine is really important, but I'm really excited to start working with patients in clinic and using all the medical knowledge I've learned to apply it to real world scenarios. So I'm really excited to start seeing patients.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
That's wonderful, honestly.
Yeah.
I love how you're so excited for that. And
Yeah.
I can say that we probably all are too in our futures.
Yeah.
Are there any study habits or tools that are helping you the most right now, even though you're in the first week?
Yeah, so something, I don't know if you guys know this about medical school, but something that is really different is like how I said, they throw a lot of information at you and you just have to try to retain as much as you can. So it's safe to say I have not figured out a good way to study so far. Um, I'm doing okay in my classes so far, but I always feel behind. And I think that's something you just have to get used to because you can't ever be completely on top of it in graduate school. Um, so I wouldn't say I've found something that's helped a lot. So far, I'm just going through the lectures and then doing flashcards on repeat until all the information I can just fit it perfectly in my head. But I wouldn't want to give any advice on study habits for medical school because I really have not figured it out yet. But if there's another interview like later down the line, then I'll be more than happy to share that with you guys.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so is there someone that's been a big influence or support for you during this whole like journey in general?
Yes. So two people in particular. My mom, it's a very basic answer to say your parents, right? But my mom's been there for the longest time. She's not from this country, so she didn't understand how the education system worked or how grad school worked. It's very different. But she did her best to really educate herself and learn every step of the way what I'm going through to better support my needs. So that was really helpful knowing that I'm never alone going through my pre-med classes or studying for the MCAT or even in high school studying for the SAT. I know that's a big, like the big rite of passage for
Yeah.
high schoolers. So I know that's stressful, but every step of the way, knowing that you have that support and you feel cared for, that is like that emotional stability. It's very helpful. And another one is my personal mentor who I met in college in San Antonio, who was in his residency at the time in neurology. So he, not really having anyone in medicine in my family, it was really hard finding people. And when I found him, by just random luck, he was the one who was like sticking with me the entire time, and he helped me with my applications, trying to help me find out what medical schools are looking for when you apply and what differentiates you from the average applicant, as well as what experiences and opportunities to pursue. So it's really sweet because he stuck with me for the past 2 years that I've known him. And he actually just came to my white coat ceremony. He flew in from San Antonio to come to my white coat ceremony, which I really loved.
Aw.
But he was there every step of the way, and it's always nice having somebody to talk to in text um, throughout the entire process. So finding a mentor that's in medicine that knows the process is really important, but also having a general mentor in terms of overall life and how you should live is really big. And one more thing is I got my white coat yesterday. So I have that to show you guys if you want to see it. But I sent my official white coat picture to my mentor last week because we had to take headshots for our ID cards. And right when I sent my picture, he sent me his first picture as a full-on attending doctor. So he finished residency last month. And so I sent him mine. I was like, first white coat picture. And he sent one back, first attending picture. And it was him in his white coat. And it was
Oh,
like our first days of our respective uh, stages of life. So it was really cool.
That's so
That's
sweet. Oh
amazing.
my God.
yeah.
It's
Mhm.
so nice that you
Super
found someone
exciting.
like that. And
Yeah.
congratulations on having your white coat
Thank
I
you.
ceremony.
Yeah,
know.
Thank you.
congratulations.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I will. Do you guys want to see it real quick? I have it right
Yeah,
behind
sure.
me.
Let's
We'd
see
Yeah,
love
it.
to see it.
definitely.
Let's see. Okay. This is
Oh
Oh my
my
gosh.
so
gosh.
Oh
it's like
my
a
God.
really
That's such
fancy.
a big
It's a
milestone.
short coat, so it goes to your waist, and
Mhm.
then every step of the way, your coat just gets longer. So um, if you're in residency, your coat gets a little longer, and then when you become a full-on attending doctor, it gets even longer. So
Okay.
um, this is the first step of the way,
Oh
it
my
seems
God,
like.
that's such a big milestone.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really great.
So I know that might have been your proudest moment, but I'm still gonna ask, what has been your proudest moment during this whole journey?
Whole meaning like all of education or a specific time in my life or
I guess since maybe from the start of college to now being in your second week of med school.
yeah. So there's definitely a lot because you really have to take pride in the little wins every step of the way to keep yourself motivated to keep going. Something that really was like super personal to me and it gave me a moment of realization that wow, I'm actually capable of this is it's probably not what you guys are expecting to hear. But in high school, I really struggled with chemistry, and that's a really big part of learning medicine, right? So I think I barely passed with a C by like 1%. And I was really, really struggling. I didn't have the best study habits. And I was going into college, and I realized a lot of people were super excited for chemistry because they were saying it was so easy in high school for me. Like I'm pre-med, I'm gonna be so good, so fine, and everything's gonna be super easy. And I'm sitting there like, I almost failed. How am I gonna do well in college, right? And I learned to find my mentors and my people in college who really helped me work on chemistry and find new learning habits. And it's really important to not be stubborn with if something doesn't work, learn how to move on and figure out a better way to do things, right? And that's something I really worked on myself on in college. And I ended up doing really well in chemistry. And the professor who taught the class, she asked me to be her TA for the next couple of years because I did really well. And that moment when I was sitting in a lab or in the lecture and helping freshman students who were also really scared entering a college course for the first time, I sat there and I was like, wow, I really am capable of making things happen for myself. So just understanding your shortcomings and not being afraid to address them and ask for help whenever you need it. That's super important. So sitting there in that classroom that day when someone first asked me for help, I was like, wow, I can really do this. So that was probably my proudest moment. And I think I wrote about that in a lot of my essays for medical school.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
I love that.
amazing.
Okay, so you've given us a lot of really great advice so far throughout the interview, but before we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to say to a student that's just starting like this process in general?
Yeah. So not to scare anyone who's wanting to pursue this career, but um, it's going to be hard, right? You hear this from everybody, and they're not wrong. It is difficult. Being a pre-med in college is difficult. Every step of the way is going to have its own problems that you need to find solutions for, right? So something I can say is try finding your people, surround yourself with people that are like-minded and will encourage you because the people you put yourself around really do matter. And I've had firsthand experience with that, right? So you need to know who to put yourself around, find your mentors, your friends, keep your family close, and be honest with yourself is probably the best thing I can say. A lot of people want to pursue medicine for the money or the prestige or the lifestyle that they have. Um, but I think being honest with yourself and really understanding if this is what you want in your life is really important because you don't want to feel like you wasted your life going after something that your parents wanted you to do or you don't really enjoy, right? So, and that's okay if medicine isn't for you. But if it is, just make sure you are true to yourself and always ask for help when you need it.
Yeah, that's great. Like, especially like this is a career where you can't really be pushed into it if you don't have the interest. So
A
that's
Mhm.
good.
100%.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like, one more thing is like I'm 23 now. I just turned 23 and I'm starting medical school after it took one gap year, right? A lot of my friends right now, they all majored in computer science or um, data science, and they're all working full-time jobs right now. And I was there last year at home, living at home with my family, just saying, what am I doing with my life? I'm not making money. I'm taking loans. I'm working minimum wage jobs in healthcare. But it's all part of the process. So it's really easy to compare yourself to people who seem like they have it much better at that stage, but you really have to find like-minded people, and it makes the process so much easier for you.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, that really summed up everything because, like, comparing yourself is definitely something that can be difficult about it when you get to that stage. So,
For sure. Yeah.
Even now, as somebody who's just going to be applying to college soon, I also have that comparison. Like, I'm comparing myself to all these applicants that I'm seeing on like TikTok or like Instagram, and I'm thinking like, how did I spend my 4 years of high school? And I'm like,
Right? Yeah.
so yeah,
yeah.
and it's just so worrying. But again, I did find like-minded people who also felt like maybe they didn't do enough or we did enough that we could, because life can get complicated sometimes, and it's just best to do what you are comfortable with
Yeah.
and
That's
not overworking yourself, obviously.
exactly. Yeah. Something to add to that is I was in the same boat where when I was applying to college or medical school, I was looking at content creators who posted things in the years before me. And something you need to understand, and if you don't know this, you should know this, is social media for the most part is all fake, right? There's people who post like super unrealistic expectations, and it really, like personally, it's made me feel really bad and incapable. Um, and it's something that you should really take with a grain of salt and just worry about what you're doing and putting in your best effort, right? So always reach out when you need help. But that's why with my videos, I try to just post realistically what happened to me. I don't try to say, oh, I had like a 5.0 GPA, right? Like, I don't try to make it unrealistic. I just want to show that it's possible, and it is difficult. I'm not trying to hide that at all. It is very difficult, but like it's very possible if you really work hard and you're true to yourself, right? So don't form your perception of a field or a major or a career choice based on what people on social media are doing, because that the amount of people that actually post on social media, it's like the tiniest percent. So that's not representative of everybody, right? So don't let that ever scare you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
And I just really want to say thank you so much for sharing your story with us and your heart with us today.
Yeah,
Of
like you
course,
said
yeah.
before, in your platform, you don't ever try to sound so unrealistic. You really like do try to show how it actually is. And I think that's amazing to show to other people that are trying to get to this level. And it's just amazing what you're doing with your platform already.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I wish you all the best. I seriously, the whole point of starting my social media account was to put out more realistically what happened for me. It's not going to be the same for everybody. I hope you guys, I don't know if you saw my videos, but I hope you guys get more than one interview
I
and don't
saw
have
that,
that stress that I went through. But like, I seriously, my whole purpose is to kind of show the mistakes I made. And so you could skip that whole struggle of not making those same errors I made. So it makes it a little bit easier for you, hopefully, in some aspect.
I love how realistically you are. Like, your whole platform's just super realistic. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like how social media is, a lot of stuff can be fake
Mhm.
and unrealistic and create high standards for one. So to have like at least like a social media platform that is so realistic is super empowering to help literally strangers online get in love with medicine
Yeah.
and find a real aspect of it to look forward to.
For sure. I'm happy I can help in any way I can. That's why when you guys asked me to be on the podcast, I was really honored, honestly, that wow, somebody wants my perspective on this. But I'm like super happy to be able to contribute to hopefully the next generation of future physicians. So hopefully you guys one day.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
hope for that.
Mhm.
To everyone tuning in, thank you for joining us on the second episode of Vitals and Voices. We're so glad that you spent your valuable time with us today and keep listening for more incredible stories.
If you enjoyed today's conversation just as much as we did, be sure to follow, share, and stay tuned to hear even more voices with values, vision, and a lot of purpose.
And we'll see you next time on Vitals and Voices.